to Generation Dan, brought to you by Boy Chef RD. We couldn't source it, not because we couldn't do it, but because it's not legal. I'm Atlas Novak. I fucked it up, didn't I? I fucked it up.
Yeah, you did.
Damn it.
I'm Nick Fernandez.
And what was Hal Doe? What was that?
That's a very deep cut Homestar Runner reference, which I've done before.
Oh my god, that was great. I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel, everyone.
And our guest today, from the Laser Time Network and the 30-2010 podcast.
Hello, it's me, Diana Goodman.
So, welcome to the show, Diana.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Yay. Pretty good. Am I your first lady?
First guest ever.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
I feel so special.
Yes to both, basically.
You won't afterward, don't worry.
Well, you're already special. You have an arcade game behind you.
Oh, I do, yes. I have a Neo Geo taking up a lot of space in my rather small house, yeah.
Was it a good Neo Geo where, like, most of the games were good, or is it one of the ones you bought it for a specific game?
Oh, no, it's pretty good. It came with, I don't know, probably not quite 20, 15 maybe games, because it's the kind of, it slots in and out. Yeah. I mean, mostly it's Bubble Bobble, Bust a Move,
That's fair.
So.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, well, that's like the only game I'm good at.
Literally like you're speaking Greek.
Generations.
Generations.
Bibble bobble? But
Bust a Move. It's a little puzzle game and there's little dinosaurs.
I'm incredulous and also realizing I'm in the dark.
That's okay. I hang out with gamers all day. It's the same thing.
That's pretty fair. I actually just got one of those sumo units where it's got like 8,000 games on it. And it's essentially everything up until like TurboGrafx 16. So it's got a ton of arcade games. It's got Virtual Fighter on there, which I'm like, that was a great game. And Bobble Bobble, and yeah. And I'm like, I play it every once in a while because I'm like, yeah, these are the games I'm good at. Because the new games, I'm not, because I suck.
Yeah, well, it is very soothing to play something that has like one button. You know, like a Tetris or something, where it's like, I only have one thing to focus on. I don't have to do all the little triggers and everything. Let's just play the like Pac-Man or something. Just not having to try too hard.
100%. I mean, to be fair, I also can't play today's games well at all. Like, but the buy-in nowadays is so high. Like, you have to, if you're going to buy a game, it's not just the $85 or whatever the fuck they are now for, like, a full-priced game. It's also, like, are you going to spend 25 hours in the first 2 days that you have purchased this in order to get the skill set to enjoy it on the third day? Like, because that's how quickly people, like, master it. So if you want to play anything online, like, you're fucked if you don't, like, devote a week to the first initial playing of it. Otherwise, you're just like, I mean, this is just going to suck.
The worst is if you come back to a game after a while, and because it's a game, it just assumes, like, oh, it's logging in again. Must have been a few hours later, and you're like, it's been literal months. I cannot remember where I am or how this game works. It's the same with, like, Netflix shows, too, where they'll just pick up Season 3, like, you didn't watch Season 2 a year and a half ago. Like, there needs to be a thing, hey, we know it's been a while, here's the basic thing.
Yeah, and sometimes there's the previously on, but it's like, it's there, but it's hard to find, and if you accidentally hit skip because you think it's going to be skip intro, it's like, well, now I can never get it back!
You know who's amazing about that is Disney Plus. Every single one of their new shows, each episode, they give you a previously on. And each of them is different. Like they'll depending on what the plot points are in the coming episode, they'll highlight different things about the previous episodes. And so it's dynamic, and like you never want to skip it because you're always like, oh my god, I remember that Tupperware lid. That's going to come into play.
Chekhov's Tupperware lid.
Listen, you know what? That is fair, but I do love that a lot of the new shows where the intro that you can skip is just the title. And that's it. And you're like, okay, you know, I'll watch through it. I don't have a problem with that. Because right now I'm binge watching Andromeda because I had never actually seen it. And the intro, not only is it horrible, but you're like, this is not a good song either. It's very, very frustrating. And those because it's on Prime Video. If you skip intro, like you said, Diana, is all of a sudden it'll go too far, and you're like, wait, I just missed 30 seconds that I need to watch. Otherwise, none of this is gonna make any sense. Who's that guy with the wings? I don't know what's happening. It's definitely.
Guy with wings.
Listen,
Did he have
all I know.
Tupperware?
And did he have Tupperware?
Tupperware made
He
of
By
actually
the end-
only had the Tupperware container,
Yeah.
which is why he needed the lid.
That's
You
why
know,
the
see-
title of the episode was The Quest for the Lid. And you're like, I don't know what that is, because somebody read it wrong, and it just became a whole big thing.
See, now I'm just thinking of that subplot in Napoleon Dynamite where it's Uncle Rico and the brother selling Tupperware to people. So, like, just that in intro.
Hold on. Did you enjoy that movie?
Yes, I liked it very much as a child.
Did you enjoy that?
What movie? Sorry, I missed the
Napoleon
title.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I haven't
Okay.
seen it in years, but I loved it when
So
I
the
watched
first time I saw it with a bunch of younger people, and they were like, "This is the greatest thing." I watched it, and I'm like, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life." Like I watched it, and I was like, "This is the worst thing ever." I'm like, this kid needs the wedgie. He needs a wedgie. That's what he needs." Okay, to become a man or something, because it was just brutal.
What do you mean? He
Di-
gets bullied. They like shove him into a locker and then
He
he.
served worse. Let's be very.
I
That's
just,
my generation.
I was not a fan either, honestly. But for like a combination of two reasons, where it's like I like movies that are about like weirdos and outsiders,
Sure.
but that are on their side, and I felt like the movie was laughing at these characters too,
Yes, it was.
and that's why I was like, no,
And you see,
No.
it was just watching like someone on fire, and you're like, "Is no one gonna put him out?" All right, so we're just gonna all just
Yeah.
watch this guy die by flames. Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
going to preface my opinion with the fact I haven't seen this in probably like 10, 11 years.
So you watched it when you were 4, is what you're saying. You're 4 years
I
old.
mean, it's 13, probably 12, something like that. But I've always loved like watching people like play dumb characters, like because I always thought like from an acting perspective, like it's so nuanced, like the choices that they make. So like when I watch like Idiocracy, like Dak Shepard at like playing Frito, like that's just, it's amazing acting. Because like to play like dumb that earnestly is so layered.
Jim Carrey's tour de force performance in Dumb and Dumber.
So that's okay, but that's the thing is for me, I'm like, if someone who's an idiot, I prefer like Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber, where he's like he didn't know that he's the idiot, but that's the thing is because he had such confidence with going into things where you're just like, there's no way that's gonna work. But he's like, sure, it'll work, and you're like, no, it's not gonna work. And then watch him just fall apart, and he's like, it's still fine. Those are IOUs. It's good. Those are as good as cash. And you're like, it's really not. It's not at all, right? And that's I don't know. That's what I think.
Yeah, I just love commitment. Like when people just go all in on something. Like I just recently heard that Mike Myers like hosted a game show as a character, but he with the express condition that they can never ever tell anyone that it was Mike Myers like hosting the game show.
I like that.
But,
I don't know.
They told people after it got canceled, but like they did it for like a whole season. And he hosted it as like a British character or something. I haven't seen like the clips of it, but I love that
What are
story.
you talking
He was
about?
like, I'll
Yeah.
do it only if I can be a character.
You know what? I like at a certain point of stardom, don't you think that you would want to do that? Where he's like, I just want to show up and fuck with people because just to have a good time. Like at some point, is it where you have to entertain yourself with that kind of stuff? Because like we were
I
talking
think
about
that's why, you want it to be entertaining for yourself. Like that's probably the only reason he would do it, right?
well, that and things like Love Guru, where you're like, ooh, that's tough one.
I just
It had its moments. Like
Oh,
the
a lot.
movie's
I
bad.
live in Brampton.
bad.
Brampton is a very, very Southeast Asian
Yeah.
dominated city in our area. So that's where I grew up, and I'm like, yeah, no, I got it. I laughed a lot, but I'm like, not in public. That's
Yeah. I did love the TM. I did always love like the register trademark thing. That was always
I just googled it. Apparently, hosted an entire season of The Gong Show, which I did not know still existed.
Oh, they brought
Wow.
it back. I think they brought it back. That was one part of it.
I remember, like, Dave Attell trying to host it, like, 10, 15 years ago.
I have no clue what the Gong Show is. I just know that, like, I'm
Generations.
remembering that.
That hurt. That hurt. Like, I felt pain when he said that. I was like, fucking child. God damn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I like
It's
when I
like-
get punished for the reason of the show. I like when, like, the conceit of the show, like, I get shit on for. I enjoy that.
It builds character. It builds, like,
The Gong Show builds character?
no, him getting shit on every episode for being
Yeah.
young.
Oh, okay.
And not knowing stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
If America's Got Talent was more stupid. There.
But
That's
America's
the
Got Talent is already pretty stupid.
And it's already pretty stupid.
It really is.
So is it just, like, were the acts that couldn't get on American Idol? Like, do they have the same casting people? Like, they have the same casting session, and they're just like, you go to line 1, you go to line 2.
I don't know. Because so many of the acts were, like, either really one note or they were really terrible.
Yeah.
And just, you got celebrity judges and they can hit a big gong when they want it to end.
Which,
So-
like, that's the
Yeah.
precursor to every talent contest show.
Yeah.
That, like, you guys had Star Search in the States? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that was the precursor to American Idol and all that kind of stuff, too, right? So it's the same type of thing.
It's like it's like a reverse The Voice, where they can hit a button to be like, I want you, but The Gong Show is just a big I fuck off button,
Well, I
right?
feel like The Voice is like, hey, we all know you're ugly, but let's see if you're talented enough for people not to care. And I'm like, that's not a compliment. Like,
What?
in general, like,
Okay, have you seen every rock star ever? Most of them are pretty fucking ugly. Like,
Yeah, and they always pick, like, a very interesting wardrobe, and then that becomes their thing, and then somehow that becomes attractive. Like,
this is
no one needs that many scarves, Steven Tyler. Like,
I disagree.
At most, you need one scarf per outfit, and he's always got, like, 7.
Listen, but Nick, why in the world would anyone use what they wear to emphasize what they are on the inside? I feel that's not something somebody would do. Just like this is not like, no.
for people listening, he's doing this thing around his "Hey fuckface" shirt, where it looks like an excuse to rub your nipples without showing that you're rubbing your nipples.
Really, I was trying to do a Vanna White thing, but also I did hit my nipples, so subconsciously
2
that's it.
birds, 1
Yeah.
boner.
That's,
Or it's like that South Park episode with the cable company people where they rip open the thing. And they're like, I'm sorry, we can't help you. You know.
it's like, this is the worst. You know what the thing is? Like, I
We
love.
just evolved into, like, noises.
Yeah.
You guys just went back and forth with.
You have to see that clip because it's pretty great. It makes sense. you
Yeah.
know?
Anywho, I just left my family, and we had a dinner party for the first time in a long time, and it was very uncomfortable listening to my dad tell an anecdote again. Just like hearing him stumble through something that like he used to have as like a polished, like good 2.5-3 minute bit. Like now it's like, why is this going on 6.5, bud?
Nick,
You took a few turns here. Are you forgetting the plot, or are we taking liberties and going down a few alleys this time?
Nick, I have a super important question about your dad's anecdote.
Yeah.
How many scarves was he wearing?
Tasteful 3.
Okay,
Tasteful
all right,
3.
good.
One around the
Good.
neck.
A gentleman.
As 2 around the wrists.
Oh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fancy.
Kind of like he was riding a Vespa, you know?
Oh my god.
But not driving. Like he was passenger in the Vespa.
Oh, he was passenger, and like all 3 scarves flapping behind it, like they were doing like a new commercial poster or something.
Listen, I've already been seeing jokes about that where it's like people don't know how to act normal. Like they'll just hold their hand up. They're like, "Is this how you drink in public now?" Like I don't know what to do. Like it is definitely going to be an adjustment, right? Like for me, I'm still in full lockdown mode. I'm like, I don't give a shit what's happening out there. I'm staying home as much as I can. I don't want to see anyone.
Yeah, I've only done one real outing. I've only traveled once in the last like 2 years.
Yeah.
Because, fully vaccinated, whole family's fully vaccinated, and it was my niece's first birthday. I haven't met her yet because the fucking COVID. So it's like, all right, let's go for, like half a week or something, or just try to stay away from people.
You're going deep.
But
half
I'm
a week?
Yeah, going from San Francisco to New Orleans. Let's do this. Got a million masks with me, staying away from people, and it was freaking weird. Because first of all, like I don't go out in public really, and when I do, I'm pretty good about keeping the 6-foot cushion and just like I don't mind. Just I'll wait for you to finish shopping over there, and then I'll get what I need. And then just the combination of I don't know if these are people who just never cared about COVID or if these are people who are vaccinated and think that they're bulletproof now. But there were not a lot of masks out on the street in New Orleans.
Listen, the fact that it's New Orleans tells me that it's not just the COVID you got to be worried about. There's a lot more that people should be wearing masks for.
And it's not like I was even on Bourbon Street.
Dental dams.
I was like out in a different neighborhood entirely, and it was still like yeah. Okay, it's weird that I'm going to eat in a restaurant, but it's also weird that like we're waiting in line for this restaurant and like people are around me. I'm not good with it yet. I don't know if it's going to take a while.
Were you good with it before? Like, were you comfortable in those situations in general? Like,
generally, yeah. I guess, if you're just standing in line for something, that's, unless someone's like breathing on your neck. Yeah, I was okay, but still, it was like someone came within 4 feet of me, I'd be like, up, and start scooting away. So I like, okay.
I think we've probably changed the boundaries of what personal space is. Not with people but with strangers. Like I think we've like probably permanently like that the acceptable distance has probably increased. Where when you're like I think before like maybe 3 feet was probably like I mean like you're a little close, but like there's other people around. I get that there's not that much space, but like now I now I feel like it's probably a little further than that. Where you're like, hey dude, I don't know you. Why are you within a wingspan? Why
stranger?
If I can reach out and touch you, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Backing away from the fingertips.
I need you at least a Depeche Mode's distance from me. I cannot reach out and touch Faith. Get the fuck away.
Like a middle school dance. Like, you gotta leave room for Jesus. Like, we need to have some space here, guys.
I just love that for Nick, what you said, Atlas, just like, he's like, it was just gobbled. He's like, I have no idea what he said.
No clue what you said.
No clue whatsoever.
Yeah. Didn't even bother remembering the words.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
No, but look, as somebody who, Diana, so just so you understand, so I'm 6'2", and right now I've lost like 80 or 90 pounds or so.
Holy cow.
It's not that big of a deal because I'm still as big as a house. So it's kind of like I did all this work, but no one gives a shit because I'm still fat as hell. So before I was 450 pounds.
Oh my.
And
I can't let me say, this guy at 17, 18 was a fucking Adonis.
Wait, what?
He was like 6'2" with like a Joe Swanson chin, like just like powerful.
Hey, Peter.
And like, kind of like he could have got cast as like Hercules, but like before they had like steroids and like workout regimens where it's just like a thick man,
40s bodybuilder. That was my it's like it's not ripped. It's
I need pictures now. Like
a Scottish strongman.
Okay.
Like he looks like he wore a tartan and chucked logs.
Oh my god.
Or the Greek version of that. So
wait, 90
wore
pounds.
a loincloth and chucked young boys. I'm not sure what the Greek parallel is.
I'm not sure. 90 pounds though. That's like going from like a McMansion to like a tasteful townhouse.
So like I was wearing a 5XL shirt, which is like a tent, like it's humongous, and now I'm down to a 3XL.
Nice.
Yeah, well, you know what? It is nice, but at this, like, I can touch my toes, but which isn't the norm for somebody my size. But at the same time, like, I'm allowed to line up for free food, which, like, when you get super fat, people look at you a lot worse. So I'm at a size where it's like I can line up for free food now, and nobody can say shit. I'm technically like the top tier of like what normal could be. Like, well, this guy's got a health issue or something. He should get the free food. Like, it's not bad. It's not.
You're both big and tall, not just big or tall.
True.
Yeah, but no, I've known some people that were past 300 pounds and a lot shorter than 6'2", and no, I'm saying good job, because I know it's really hard to get started because all of your shit is already under a lot of stress just from living.
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
Like, go get moving, and it's like my knees just exploded because I thought about it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. No,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just get moving.
Yeah.
But I want him to focus on, like, just down the line, like, if he's able to get like some definition in them, how magnificent his calves will be.
Oh,
like
I modeled them for my wife
years
yesterday,
of
and she was
moving
like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got gorgeous calves." Like,
years of
my
moving that amount of
forearms
weight,
and
like,
calves.
you must just have like just two like boulders next to each other, right? Just like on each leg, like just the two segments. Insane.
Hilarious, because I'm like from the elbow and knees down, I am like gorgeous. Like I got veiny hands and they're very large, and I'm like I got massive forearms, and my calves are gorgeous. It's like the middle part, not so much. Like it's like as soon as you pass like Empire waist, like I'm so okay, Diana. So you know, I go like
if
the genetic
Vitruvian manned you, like the outer rim. The outer rim would be real good.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I'm stretched out, like I can look, but then you need like some lighting, some perspective tricks, and like I'll look okay, like a normal person. But it's like the center, that's. I feel like someone flipped the page. You know those kid books where it's like the head, the chest, the legs, the feet are different. So it's like the two middle ones. Someone already turned the page. So it's like that doesn't match up.
Yeah, so below the fuck face, that's where it all goes wrong.
Below the fuck face and above the knee, it's like a nuclear reactor. It's always hot. It's not good. It's not. Yeah, it's on fire constantly. It's
could
very,
boil an egg somewhere in there.
So, I don't even know what we were talking about before. So you understand?
It doesn't matter.
I'm a big guy, so I'm like, I don't like. We were talking about where touching. Yeah. I don't like being touched in general, but I'm like, being this big, I'm like, people don't come near me. And it's really, Nick has seen this a couple times where I'm like, if I stay still, like against the wall, people will just think I'm furniture. Like they just will not acknowledge my existence whatsoever. And he's like, how is this happening? And I'd be like, hey man. And someone like I turn invisible and they just can't even realize what's going on. And I'm like,
to be fair, you do wear a lot of gray and black.
It's a slimming color, all right, and I know that feel.
You only get so many options at 5XL. I'll tell you that right now. Okay?
Hey, you rock the fuck out of a hoodie though, like a zip-up hoodie. You wear the fuck out of a zip-up hoodie.
Oh my God.
Now they're all too big. It's very frustrating. But
so, Diana, in San Francisco, what's it like in terms of opening there? Because I know I'm in SoCal, you're in NorCal. And...
Right. Things are mostly open. Stores and restaurants and stuff are generally open, except for whatever got shut down because they ran out of money and they couldn't make the rent. Mm-hmm. I know a bunch of places voluntarily did that. I've just said, like, look, this is going to go on forever, and we don't want to keep burning money on this, so we're just going to break our lease now. We'll be back. We'll see you later. But some, like, movie theaters, a bunch of them are not open yet, and that's kind of bumming me out, even though I probably wouldn't go to a movie theater. But all the, like, the retro houses, they haven't reopened. They're like, no, like, we're from 1920, our ventilation, no, let's just not.
Must be annoying for Classic Corner on 30/20/10.
It's just annoying for me personally because like that's been everyone's like when the pandemic's over I'm gonna like go camping with my bros, and it's like I want to spend all day at a classic movie theater. I want every widescreen epic with an intermission, and I want to go there until my butt is numb. It's like, let's do all David Lean. We're gonna do Dr. Zhivago and Lawrence of Arabia and Bridge on the River Kwai on the big screen. It's like 18 hours of content right there. Yes, that's what I want. Like that is my dream, and I can't get it yet. Man.
So they've actually started renting theaters here in Toronto, so that you can actually rent it out for I think 18 people. So that everyone can be spread out, and it's a set price, and you can just rent the whole theater because, they I think they just started. Nick, I think they just opened up.
Yeah, they just opened up regularly. I think on this past Friday, because we reached like the vaccination target, I think 5 weeks ahead of schedule.
Some government baloney happened, and somebody let them open. It's all bull, but yeah.
Hey,
give it 2 weeks.
They had
weeks.
the baloney figures to go with it, though. You know,
that's fair.
You know,
they tried this time at least.
I at least respect when they got the literature on their side. Like I get that all of the decisions are theater at this point. At least I'm just speaking for what's going on in Canada, but
the whole world.
but at least when they got like data where I'm like I can stand behind this. I love numbers, so like when I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Then I feel a little bit better. But for my own mental health, I just stopped watching the news, and my sister and family keep me up to date. I'm like, oh, that's what the rule change. All right, cool. All right, that's nice.
Now, Diana, you are a movie buff. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So may I ask, is one of the reasons that you're hesitant to go back into a theater specifically the scene in Outbreak where the guy goes into the movie theater and and coughs? Because for me, that's it. Like I'm like, no, I don't trust anyone else in the movie theater. I refuse. Because we're huge movie fans, me and my wife.
Maybe. I mean, this mask is staying with me. I have a wide assortment of masks, and I think they might just be permanent part of my wardrobe.
Yeah, where it's like, okay,
just
phone, wallet, keys, mask, right?
Yeah, and especially just on airplanes in particular. Like, that just kind of makes some sense. Or on a bus.
Question. Yeah. Is it going to be the new, suddenly you hold your purse tighter? That's my... where you see somebody and you're like, mask goes on, and they're like, what the hell? You know, like, I feel...
with my face, I'll let you know. Give me a few weeks of being in public, and I'll let you know a little sample size. For context, Diana, I have a track record, and I do bits about it in stand up of like when I get off a bus at the same stop as anyone else, like they'll sprint away from me, no matter what I'm wearing. No matter what smile I have on my face, if it's after 10 o'clock, like people are sprinting away from me, and I understand. I understand, but like it does hurt my feelings every time.
It'd be even worse if you're like, wait, where are you going? I wanted to be friends. Like that just makes them run faster. Like,
well, it's honestly
100%.
Worse when they're going in the same direction that I was supposed to go, because like I walk fast. Like I have a fast-paced walk, so if they don't have a good enough like rate to their walk, I'm gonna catch up with them, and then it's just like and then I depending on how far I'm supposed to go, like if I have like a 10-block walk ahead of me, like I don't give a shit about your feelings. I'm gonna walk quick. I'll cross the street if it's a little too dark, but like otherwise, but like. So if it's only like a block, then I'll be like, I gotta slow walk this, because like I'm only like eight doors up or whatever.
You know what? I have the same issue, Nick, when I used to use transit, and I'll tell you right now is what I would do is I would get off the bus, and then I would smoke a cigarette and just stand there, because I'm fat. People don't expect me to move and smoke at the same time, right? So,
I've seen you do it. It is impressive.
People are like, it's amazing. You're like, whoa, how is he not dying?
A true genetic marvel.
Well, that's it. But the funny thing is that I feel like some people got the impression I was giving them a head start, because the looks I got when I just would like stop, light a smoke, and just sit there. And they're like, "Okay, run!" Like it's. Trust me, it gets messed up because then when I finish my cigarette and start walking, one person would like stop to tie their shoe, and I can walk at a fast pace if I want.
A fat
so
pace?
One person, definitely a fat pace.
was
I lumber when I walk.
That was a Freudian slip.
Like yeah.
I'm thinking like that episode of Family Guy with Stewie and the tuba.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would love if I knew somebody that played the tuba who could follow me around with that, because I'm like, yeah, bring it on. That's the best. Like, listen, as a fat guy, my personal kryptonite is watching people fall down, and the fatter the better. Okay, I am allowed to say that. Okay, like I am on the forefront of the Fat Person Alliance community, so I can do whatever I want. But watching fat people fall, oh, that is a treasure. I'm telling you, that is something I like. Listen, there's a bit that I do about me and my wife are at a movie theater, and this fat couple falls down, and I called them Mr. and Mrs. Potato because they were just round with hands and feet, like that's how fat they were. And when Mrs. Potato fell, she was like stuck on her back like a turtle, and I was dying laughing because the Mr. Potato was too fat to help her up. He couldn't get a good grip on her hand because he couldn't lean forward. Like it was, and I was almost pissing my pants laughing. And my wife was like, "This is why you're going to hell, because you're a horrible person." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a fair contract. Like I can't really argue my way out of that." But yeah.
See, and that's where someone like me gets stuck because I just have little noodle arms. I'm just this little skinny thing. And it's like my natural instinct is to be like, "Oh, let me help you up." And it's like I would have been able to do. I would have just made everything worse. Now I'm part of the pile.
The manager tried the same, and I'm like, "What are you gonna do? You ain't got a forklift, guy. You're done. Just set up cones. That's it. You're done."
I'm sorry, you live here now.
Listen. I've fallen and
floor sign because of the slow sweat that's coming out of their bodies.
Listen, yeah, one cone and caution, wet floor. Just
Yeah.
around them,
God.
like
Oh my
alternate.
god. When I hear you live here now, like, whenever I, like, sleep over at my girlfriend's place and I'll, like, get up to go to work and, like, kiss her to leave, she's like, no, you live here now. And then she'll put me in a fucking headlock. Like, just, I'm sleeping, but I'm headlocking you. It's...
Realistically, that's the easiest part of you to grab. Like, it's a big
Yeah.
thing to...
No, definitely. I look like someone used...
Go for the broad side of the barn.
Yeah, no, like, my head is huge. I look like someone used the big head cheat in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
I was thinking NBA Jam. Oh!
Dealer's
He's
choice,
on
doesn't
fire!
matter.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Oh my god.
Alright, so I know. Okay, so the show's ostensibly about covering the different generations.
Yes.
And I thought of something the other day that differentiates the generations that like no one bothers to mention because I'm firmly Generation X.
Yeah.
Towards the end of Generation X, but Generation X definitely nonetheless. And I was talking to my mom about vaccination stuff, and she told me I'm vaccinated for smallpox.
Oh.
And I'm about
Really?
the youngest you can be to be vaccinated for smallpox.
When did they eradicate it? Like the 80s? Or...
Mid-70s.
Okay.
Was
So,
the last case of smallpox. But then they kept going till about 1980 vaccinating people. And then, well, first it was mandatory, then it was optional still. And then, by the time my brother was born in 84, it was not even on the table. They were like, yeah, you don't even bother doing that. So...
That's
We
cool.
got- Really what we have to do is watch out for the boomers starting shit. Because, like, this is a way they could get rid of the millennials and zoomers. And there'd be nothing to stop them.
What if
Bring
they...
back smallpox.
well,
No.
like realistically, they have enough wealth that they could just slaughter them en masse, right? Like, they don't even need bioweapons at this point.
I mean, you're already kind of slaughtering us en masse. Single
Yeah.
tier.
All they'd have to do is put something in matcha, because and they'd get a good swath of the target.
Or just like
population.
a Starbucks that you kill
Yeah.
you kill them. Like I saw a commercial.
Is Boba super big there too?
Yeah, Boba's pretty
Yeah.
big.
really
yeah.
huge in Toronto. So yeah, whatever you put in those tapioca balls, like you could
Yeah.
easily fit a pill in there. You could
But
eat.
then, So I'm trying to figure out what vaccination differentiates Zoomers from millennials. I think it might be chickenpox.
I got the chickenpox vaccine.
Because it seems like, at least in the States, it wasn't until about 95 they started adding that. Maybe a little bit earlier.
I was born in 94, so, when I was a wee lad,
There's probably something else I don't know about.
Maybe.
I've done about 6 minutes of research on this.
Still
Mostly
pretty
just
neat,
finding
though.
out about, like, wait, so if I'm vaccinated, for smallpox, what happens if somehow 50 years later smallpox gets back out?
Well, the way things are going, that's definitely what's going to happen. You may be less susceptible.
Yeah, and it turns out, it seems like it's pretty much like the COVID vaccine, where it's like you're less susceptible, and if you catch it, you're not going to catch it as bad.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what, old-timey vaccines, like during the Revolutionary War, George Washington required all soldiers to be inoculated to smallpox, which was done by taking the pustules from cowpox, crushing them up, cutting a thing in someone's arm, and then putting it in there. That was old-timey vaccines.
That's when heroes were heroes, okay? That's why they could do that shit. Now people would die. Okay?
I mean, that is a good vaccination, because if you can survive that procedure, you probably got the immune system to handle.
Yeah, but that was the point, though. That was before they had labs and syringes and all that. This is 1700. I know I think it's the Ming Dynasty, they would smallpox scabs, crush them up, blow them up somebody's nose, and that was their vaccine. It's crazy shit.
I wonder how they thought of that, as opposed to just cut a hole in someone and sprinkle it on. It needs to go.
Cocaine. Definitely the refinement of cocaine was involved in that process. You can put drugs up there, then I got an idea for you.
Well, a lot of these old-timey remedies that you'll hear about, they actually do kind of work, because some part of it is an active ingredient or whatever that we actually use today, and they just did this by trial and error, and they found something that kind of works. Yeah, it also kills people 25% of the time, but the other 75% it works. So they were just good with those odds back then, right?
Well, yeah, because
this is very warm, okay? This is very warm, and you cough a little, but the heat, it keeps it at bay.
I remember reading one of my dad's old Fantastic Four comics when I was a kid, and there's a thing where they lock them up in special prisons to hold each member. And the Human Torch's thing is this room is filled with asbestos, and they're like, this is totally fine.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and he breaks out by realizing he can just peel it away, and then flies through the drain.
Well, that's the thing, is asbestos is just don't touch it. As long as you don't touch it, it's fine. As soon as you do, particles go everywhere, and everyone's going to die.
Yeah, but this was the 50s. What did they know, right?
Well, if you or one of your loved ones have mesothelioma, you may be eligible for it.
Oh my god.
We got Buffalo TV over here, guys. Come on, there's Celino and Barnes.
I saw a commercial for Starbucks the other
day. Did you see that Celino and Barnes broke up?
Yeah, well,
Who?
So originally, so this is right in Buffalo. There's a lawyer duo that sue the shit out of everything.
Celino and Barnes, personal injury lawyers.
Oh, I love personal injury lawyer ads. They're my favorites.
Oh, they're great.
Well, so these guys are the ones that are the basis for the Rick and Morty commercials, from their new TV. It's wild. Yeah. But these guys are the original of that, and it's
But they just broke up, and it was Celino and Barnes. Now it's Celino and Associates and Barnes and Company or something like that. And I saw these commercials come on because they both came on in the same commercial break. It was Celino something and then Barnes something. And I'm like, oh my god, what happened, guys? Were their wives involved? I have to know what broke this partnership up, but I've yet to do the research.
Who got custody of the wall of untouched law books that they're always in front of?
Who got custody of the ampersand?
Oh.
Listen, they had a theme song that would stick in your head. Their phone number was 888-8888. It was
Celino and Barnes.
Yeah, it was. You would sing this in your sleep, and the thing is, because we're really close to Buffalo, so that was a big destination for Boxing Day shopping and even just small short trips, right? Casinos, all that kind of stuff. So you would see all these billboards all over the place, and we would constantly get that because you'd watch TV from Buffalo because Canadian TV is horrible.
Also,
Hey.
if you're up late enough, it's the only thing to watch is like reruns of Fantastic Four movies on the CW.
Oh God, for the California listeners, 800-588-2300 Empire.
Empire. We also have
Yeah.
that up here.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
Just for you guys.
We watch a lot of your TV. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not like we don't have a lot of resources. Listen, so for a channel to air in Canada, it has to have 30% Canadian content.
Right.
That's not a lot of content.
That's
okay?
not a lot of content, eh?
Oh, I'm gonna stab you if I ever meet you in person. Headed prick.
I just looked at the picture. I'll put this on, or have him put it on the Generation Dan Twitter. You are truly. You look like. God.
Yeah.
You look like Joe
Look at that
Swanson
jawline.
met like Chris Pratt. Like it's.
Yes.
He is a handsome motherfucker. That is
Diana,
crazy.
you get the treat of this today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is
No, that is a fun game though. Like, do you guys have any other fun, really memorable jingles that I want to see if we also get them, like what crosses and what sticks in people's brains, because there's
Oh God, we're gonna make whoever's listening to this be like, I'm gonna kill you because I have like 6 things stuck in my head.
I don't know. For personal injury lawyers, the one we always had in LA growing up was Larry H. Parker, who was a guy who looked a lot like Weird Al and had kind of an aggressive nasally voice. And he's like, "Hi, I'm Larry H. Parker, and I could fight for you." And then he'd have a bunch of people that had like testimonials of like, "Larry got me $400,000," and it always ended with the same guy who's going, "Larry H. Parker got me $2.1 billion." And that was on for seriously like at least 10-15 years until they updated it, and then in the end it was the same guy, and he said, "Larry H. Parker got me, you know the story."
what?
It's like
They like got meta with the
They were
commercial.
self-aware. They were
That's the
self-aware.
best part 2 ever. Like
Yeah.
realistically, because like that didn't air on prime time. Like that was like
no.
middle of the day, like before lunchtime or
Yeah.
after 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, that's
So
Their
basically,
audience, it was
stay-at-home
for-
moms and kids home sick from school are like,
Or-
oh shit, greatest hits.
people
or
like
up all night watching TV, right?
Yeah.
Like
meth benders, cocaine benders, like that. They knew their audience.
Mhm.
All people that likely would have personal injury, right?
Yeah. That's also
Wow.
why they have the exercise equipment late at night. I think that's just sinister. It's like, you know that you're just lying on the couch being a fat bastard. Buy that Bowflex, it'll fix your shit. And he's like, no, it won't.
never did, never.
This goes back to our earlier thing about being in public. Like, I wonder if people know how to eat chips when you're not eating them off your stomach. Like,
Oh,
you're
I
not-
forgot completely.
like
Listen.
where it's like you have the bowl here or the bags right here, and like like how are they gonna deal with chips and guac when you're eating together? Like, do they have to take a
Listen.
pit stop on the chest?
I was on a podcast and I was eating Frito corn chips with chopsticks because I don't like getting chip stuff on your fingers. And they were like, "Are you eating those with chopsticks?" I'm like, "This will change your life."
Oh no,
Like, you
I've
have
done that
no
with
idea.
Cheetos. Mwah, so
Yeah.
good.
And one person was like, "Well, getting Cheeto fingers is part of the experience." I'm like, "You're the reason we have terrorism. It's you. You're the problem. Like you're the worst person." I'm like, "You don't want personal growth because you think it's part of the experience. You orange-fingered, fingerprints all over your house, sick bastard."
Oh
Like,
no, it's not even that.
gosh,
People are like that, or why we still have like student loans and shit. They're like, I had to do it, so should you, man. Like,
yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
how dare you
compare
innovate
to
for
the
the betterment
person
of
that said
life?
it's part of the experience? It is actually like designed to be part of it, because they figured out how to make Cheetos, Doritos, and all those things taste the exact same with zero powder on them.
Yeah.
But they did a focus group, and people were like, I don't like it. I like the stuff on my fingies.
It is trippy. Honestly, I've had ketchup chips without the super red dye in the powder and stuff, and it freaks you out. Like, it tastes exactly the same, freaks you right out.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want it to be purple. I want my chips to be purple.
The purpler ones do taste better. It's fair.
They do taste
It's not
better.
unreasonable.
I don't. You're gonna have to explain this to me. I know this is something you got from the Brits, but the ketchup chips.
They're wonderful.
Ketchup
They're wonderful.
is such a non-flavor.
Hey,
No,
I don't like tomatoes, so like this is I don't have a dog in this fight. Go
Now,
nuts.
here's the thing. Ketchup chips, it doesn't taste like ketchup that you guys would have. Like, so that's the thing. It's not based on ketchup now. It's like what ketchup used to be. So it's a lot more of a vinegary flavor. So it's almost like if you cooked like salt and vinegar chips up a notch with more robust flavor. So it's got a little bit more. It's almost like if you took like salt and vinegar and like did a cross with barbecue. I would say is probably like the closest thing that you could get to it. But they're incredible, and they're so good that people like used to cross the border to purchase them in bulk and then take them down to the States.
You know,
Like,
I hate agreeing with Nick, but that was actually a pretty good explanation. Like, he's a child and has no idea of real life, but that was a good explanation. It's very...
I know me food. Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. Listen, you don't get this big without eating some ketchup chips. I'll tell you
Hey,
that.
you'll vouch for me. I got pretty hefty at some points.
Hey Diana, when did you leave LA?
95.
Okay, but
95.
keys on Van Nuys?
No.
Nope. Okay.
Nope.
All right.
I don't know that one.
Okay,
Nope.
that one was burned into my psyche from childhood because
Grr.
yeah,
Do you guys have pizza in the States?
Yes.
Is that a stupid...
Mhm.
yeah, that one O'Reilly.
567 1111 is...
No, it's different
No.
everywhere.
It's
Yeah.
different. It's literally just the Caesar doing like pizza, and that's it.
Wow.
Sit and sleep
Oh,
with
no,
me.
no.
Anyone advertised price for your mattress is free. Like just blows out your eardrums.
By the way, okay, so you guys have heard about this whole thing that Mattress Warehouse are like one of the leading things for money laundering?
No, I didn't know that.
Really? That
Yeah.
explains so much.
Yeah, like, okay, so, like, the funny thing is, when someone said that, I was just like, wait,
Shoving
that's-
cash in all the
that's
mattresses?
100%.
Question mark?
Well,
Or
Well, this is the thing is the idea behind the entire art world being a money laundering scheme on a massive level has been just historically completely accurate. Like you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's definitely
How you move wealth, yeah.
well, yeah,
how
because
you-
it's like a
taxation.
subjective price on stuff, right?
Exactly,
You know?
and so you have everyone in on it from the top to the bottom, and it works like even with donations. Using artwork as donations is a huge thing. All you just need is the right person to appraise it, right? So, but mattress warehouses, you're like, yeah, because there's a million. Have you ever walked into like a mattress place and bought a mattress? They're like, what do you want? You're like, a mattress. They're like, yeah, whatever. And you're like, what? Well, you had this deal. Oh, okay, sure, take it, whatever. And you're like, they could give a shit what you do there, right? It's very, but it makes complete sense. That's why I'm like,
Well, the further
those-
upstream you go in the supply chain, like you can get like the stuff that falls off the back of the truck like so much cheaper, right? Because like when they're placing orders for stuff like that, at the jump, they assume they're gonna lose like 20% of the order. Like by the time it gets to where it's gonna go at the end. Like I have a uncle who works in in a warehouse
crime?
like no maybe the company he works for is but
That's like the
not
least cool my uncle works for. What happened to my uncle works in Nintendo?
no but like they do like gloves and Ziploc bags, and they got into masks, and they supply hospitals and stuff all around. But like when they place the orders for these
White
gloves
collar.
and stuff, they're like, yeah, we're gonna lose 2 crates every time that they open this container, because they just know that's the price of doing business. Is that like at some point they're gonna lose it from either like from someone on the ship, someone at that dock, someone at this dock. We're gonna lose some stuff, and it's just cheaper to order more than to try and track the stuff down. So like I'm sure that's the same with mattresses. That you go there like, I'll give you $12 for a mattress, and he's like, I mean, I do have to go for lunch, so that would cover my tacos, which is nice.
That is one of those things I like doing, wandering around, especially large cities, and trying to spot businesses that's like, you're a front for something.
Oh yeah.
Like, there was a store that near my house that only sold rocking chairs, and it was huge. The lights were never on.
Yeah.
I almost never saw anyone come or go, but it was there for years.
That's the most San Francisco front, I think. I could think of.
Rocking chairs.
Rocking chairs.
I would say
They had,
wooden
all
clogs.
kinds. They weren't just wooden rocking chairs. They had like lazy boy rocking chairs, like big stuffed, comfy looking chairs. But they rocked, I guess. Allegedly, I don't know. But I was like, there is something weird going on here. This is some sort of front for something.
Is there like a particular like area or part of the city there where you see that more? Because like here in Toronto, like all along College Street, you'll just see stores that are always open.
Clearly a front for something, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah, 100%. Right in Little Italy, there's this cafe next to a pharmacy that I've never seen anyone purchase anything, walk in, or go anyone do any work in there at all. But occasionally you'll see like a table full of old men. Like occasionally,
Like 4 Rolls Royces outside, and you're like, oh, that's interesting.
yeah,
That's-
double parked. Yeah,
There's a few places like that where you're like, all of a sudden, it's like a dodgy area of the city, and there's a Rolls Royce, and you're like, well, let's get out, let's go, let's get out of here.
Yep, I've heard many stories from people who I'm like, I think I'll try out this restaurant, and realizing it's not really a restaurant. Like, there are some men in here. They don't seem to like that you just walked in, and they don't actually have food here. Okay,
Well,
bye.
One of the best stories I heard about that was when someone walked into a place, and they were like, there was no one really there, but there were some people in the back. And the guy comes out and goes, yeah. He's like, oh, we were here for dinner. He's like, all right. And just walks away and just comes back with food. Like,
Doesn't
like,
take their order, just shows up with food.
Just, here's food. And just puts it out. And they're like, okay. He's like, all right, have a good night. And they're like, we got to pay. It's like, nah, it's okay. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I'm glad you're still alive. They're like, yeah, it was the weirdest experience. I'm like, let me explain. So don't go back there and never go down that street ever again. Because you're going to die if they see you again. Because just don't.
They're
It's a
gonna
bad
think you're
idea.
an undercover or something, yeah.
Or just a pain in some guy's ass. He's like, yeah, just kill them. I don't like cooking for anybody.
There's this in my mom's neighborhood. There's this one storefront that never survives longer than 6 months.
Yes.
It has been a sushi place. It's been a pizza place. It's been a Thai place. It's been like it's across from a huge business park, right? Should have lots of foot traffic.
Lunchtime heat. Yeah.
Lunchtime
Okay.
heat never survives, and like every time someone like a new restaurant moves into the place, I'm half tempted to dress up as like that character from the Stephen King novels. Shows up like, congratulations, you just rented a cursed retail space.
I feel like every
Make
plaza.
believe- Sorry.
I should just show up in a Grim Reaper outfit, be like, it's coming
Exactly
for you.
what I pictured. Just you pull down, you're like, I'm from the future, and this is doomed. Like,
You know
sorry,
that would be like a fun show to like, or a documentary series. It just like where you do it over, like you could start that project now, right? 'Cause every time you go home to visit your mom, you're just like you go to this place and like, so this time it's a Cuban place,
Yeah.
and we're gonna try out their
Yeah.
signature sandwich.
Yeah.
And then every time you go home, you go like, oh, this time it's Mediterranean.
I feel like that you could get a grant for like a documentary for like, listen, it'll pay for your trips to go see your mom, and you'd be like, I just record every time there, every 6 months. You're like, that's pretty reasonable.
It's a business
Not a bad
park
idea.
version of Boyhood. You could win the Oscar. You could win the Oscar here.
Definitely.
You film it over 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years. Same actors. You.
And that's it.
that
Yeah.
building.
But like,
What if all the staff are like just now like they'll have mustaches all of a sudden? So it's like a new brand and everyone has a mustache. And they're like, hello, new customer I've never met. Like, there's
Same
so
guy
much you
working.
could do.
I kind of want to try this, if only just for the like. I got to do the Grim Reaper bit. It like kills me.
Yeah,
But also, I
absolutely.
live in the same city as my mom. Visiting her is like every other weekend or so. Like,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just
You know
takes
what?
you half hours to get there, right? If
Kind of.
I'm-
it's a long time.
Listen, you should have like a Grim Reaper like cloak,
Mm-hmm.
and it covers your face, but like when you take it off, you should have like really shiny clothes, like you're from the future. That's what I think. And just be like, I'm from the future, and this is doomed. Like, and that's it. And then just leave. Just leave. Don't say anything else. Just run away. Because I'm telling you, that might be all the excitement they get for 6 months.
Knowing me, I would go, this place is doomed, and then run and trip over the cloak on the way out.
That's why you have to be ladylike and you have to hitch it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So now the Grim Reaper's running away kind of prissy, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
Yeah.
that's tripping.
Or I could just full on bunch it up like I'm trying to take a leak in the woods. And like, just,
Yes. That way they can see your futuristic clothing and you won't trip, but you'll have like a cloak under your arm, which is a weird thing to
picturing
do.
him doing some sort of Russian dance in said skirt/cloak.
Even
Like
better.
a lot of leg movements.
Listen,
you know,
learn
not
magic.
the torso doesn't move much. You know.
Learn magic so that you can turn the robe into like it's made of like fire paper. So you take it off and just lights on fire, and you're like, "This is doomed," and run away. I think we have something here. I'm just saying.
I just don't know how something with so much foot traffic, because some of the places have been like good, and then just no one goes in there for whatever reason.
Have you eaten at these places before? Like,
I've tried 5 of them of all of the time my mom's lived there.
Dude, if you had just
Yeah.
filmed this, we would have
God
something
damn it.
we could pitch to HBO.
Well, because
All
it didn't
you
really
have to do
occur to me until like the 3rd one. I was like, all right, this is weird. You know?
my God.
that's awesome. Actually,
Yeah.
you know what? That's
And it could become more autobiographical too, where it's like you bring a girl you're dating there, and then it's like, and now we're married with these 7 children, and we're gonna go try what it is today. And it's like you're also part of the story.
And then,
my
and then like the
God,
youngest one
that's
shows
great.
up and it's like, this is cursed. And then,
guys.
Just walk up to them like, hey, can I get some sushi? Or how about pizza? How about Greek food? How about...
What if there are stats? It's like every time it's a like Middle Eastern or Mediterranean restaurant, me and the girlfriend argue more. But when it's like a sushi place,
Yeah.
like everything seems to be calm. It's like they did like a fish and chip spot once, and all hell broke loose. Like just like there's got to be some sort of. Yeah, you should be able to chart this information. I'm telling you, like this might be gold, sir.
the worst part is it's next to the Ocean Park Cafe, which is overpriced as fuck and is constantly full of people. It's next to a breakfast place that just like kicks its ass.
I'm just picturing you like somewhere down the line. You drive into this plaza. You got your couple kids in the back, and your son's like, "Dad, can we go try some fried chicken at that place there?" And you look up and you're like, "Oh my God, son, it was a fried chicken place when I was your age."
It's come full circle.
Just
Oh,
full
no.
circle. Oh, God. And then just right at the end, Boyhood. You know,
Oh my God.
Yeah,
never saw the movie.
That could be your opus. That's like, listen, that's
Boyhood 2, yeah.
Boyhood 2, this time extra crispy.
That's what? Diana, you being an expert with movies, and especially like you doing research for quite old movies too, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any? So, me and my wife are very big fans of horror movies. Do you have anything that you may have we might have missed?
Huh. Well, I also like horror movies, but I'm also a giant sissy, so I tend to read about them more than I end up watching them. The most recent horror movie I watched, being a horror fan and Canadian, you probably already know pretty well, Ginger Snaps. I finally watched Ginger Snaps.
Yes.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, it's fairly low budget, but it's got a great story to it. It's just
Yeah, it's just a fun story, and then it gets like really gory at the end. But just I'm just so pissed off that it's like how many thousands of years of human history, and no one's thought to combine the idea of a girl getting her period for the first time and werewolves. They both
Seriously?
happen on lunar cycles. It seems so obvious.
There's
So
even
this
the
movie
bit
has
about like
no relation to the cookie.
No, I'm
whatsoever.
sorry. There were no cookies in it at all.
Okay.
You're the
I
worst
kept watching. I didn't see any.
fucking woke person I've ever met, Nick. You're just like, I have no idea about history. Just
Okay, well, like they almost got there with Carrie, right? Or
Yeah,
ish, like
that's
just
true.
minus the werewolves.
No, not with werewolves.
Yeah.
though.
Look, there's a lot of very interesting stories out there that are told horribly, but at the same time, you're like, it's an avenue of thought that should be explored more. That's why I like the idea. So one of my personal favorites is In the Mouth of Madness.
Oh,
which,
hell yeah.
Yeah, which is just just a fantastic story. And then especially now with everything that's happened with the Large Hadron Collider and dark matter and all this kind of stuff, Event Horizon is also like one of my top tier, where I'm just like, those kind of movies are epic because it's a actual information where you're like, that seems almost plausible. You're like, like anyone could be on the verge of having a psychotic break and thinking of that process, but actually seeing it executed well is just always interesting. But,
Or is it just that Sam Neill can sell things?
listen, I'm just Greek enough that I would go out with Sam Neill. He's great. Okay,
I love that. Just Greek enough.
just Greek enough,
great.
sir.
That's
You know?
great.
What can I say? I'm that kind of guy. But yeah, no, he is fantastic. So
I love that guy.
He's coming back for the last Jurassic World movie, I believe.
I believe they all are, yeah.
Yeah, which should be interesting. I wouldn't necessarily say good, but it should be interesting. On this topic, what is your favorite Marvel movie? Considering that you actually like good movies, like which of those would you say is like objectively this is a good movie? It could stack up against other good movies.
Captain America Winter Soldier.
That's
a
a phenomenal movie.
I think Winter Soldier, it's like you could do a little bit of tinkering and you've got just as good a like conspiracy thriller as we saw in the 70s. They got that like 3 Days of the Condor, Parallax View, sort of all the President's Men thing going on.
It does have because exactly the characters, but like a Soviet era kind of Cold War-esque tension throughout it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I was
espionage, right?
Yeah, and it's like, oh no, it turns out the good guys are secretly undermined by the bad guys all along. I've been doing their dirty work. No. Yeah, it's like I've enjoyed all the Marvel movies. You go watch there hasn't been one that I like hated. There's just some that's like, well, that was fine, but I don't need to watch that again. And it's weird doing 30-20-10 because we do all the movies from 10 years ago that we're moving through them again.
Through the early part of the MCU. And like,
we just this last summer we did Thor and then Captain America First Avenger. And so it's like, it's weird to be like, okay, 20 fucking movies and 10 years later.
Yeah. Thor, not as good on the rewatch. I went back and rewatched it. Like, it was good when I first saw it, but on the rewatch, he got much better at playing Thor later.
Yeah. No.
And so when you see his first try, I'm not great. I'm not happy about it.
No. It's not him. It was what they were going for. They had Kevin Branagh, and you're like, we're going to make this artsy-fartsy, and you're like, no. What happened after that actually told a story that could align with everything else. It had to have an element of fuckery, okay?
I still think Ragnarok is the best Thor movie.
Definitely. And honestly, I really have my hopes up for the next string of Thor movies, but realistically, it's a hard sell, right? For stupid reasons, but it is a hard sell. And that's like... People are stupid.
I'm happy Natalie Portman's coming back because I really enjoy her in everything she does.
It's because you're a pervert.
Actually, I never saw the movie, her first movie, so no.
You missed out, loser.
Leon the Professional's so good though, but
not that way. Oh no.
Sorry. But there's a lot of ways to watch it and be creepy.
That was not her first movie that I was referencing. Oh my god.
What were you referencing?
That's what I was referencing because I just saw her do an interview where she said like that was a really bad first movie to have.
Oh,
No,
no.
it's such a good movie, but yeah, be ready to be creeped out.
Yeah.
I love.
Okay, her first movie as an adult.
I
Menace?
No, where she was with Clive Owen, and it was
Oh, right. Okay. Closer? Is that called Closer? No. What's that called?
well, it was the first time she actually was a real actress, and because she was great in Leon, but she's a child. That's that's not what I meant. Sorry, I just need to really clear that up because that's
No, exactly the feeling you have like on your face and in your body right now, Dino, is the reason I don't have TikTok. Like, it is the exact same reason. Like, and I get that if you have it for a while, like the algorithm changes, but I am not okay with what like the regular like what the default was when I opened the app. I was like, I don't know, because
you can't scroll
like,
through it.
it just made me so uncomfortable. I was like, I don't want this.
I heard an advertisement for an upcoming podcast called Talk Show, like TOK, like TikTok, and it's literally just them talking about like the newest shit going on with TikTok, and I was like, I already can't really do TikTok to begin with. Fuck, that was like one of my first like I'm getting old. My mom told me a few weeks ago, she's like, you and your sister, my older sister, keep me up to date with the current lingo. I was like, that pipeline's rusting, dude. We're starting to lose the relevance. I think you're gonna
some lead's starting to leach into that water. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Everything's just getting a little slow.
That statue of Julius Caesar is starting to crumble. That's the empire is falling.
That's okay, but that's the thing is now the trends are a lot faster than like when I was younger, even right. Like
the pace is like
it was
like
one
2
summer
years.
Max biking, the next summer was skateboards. Like that's a lot of time in between before things changed, right? Like whereas now it's like 6 months, and then all of a sudden it's just porn and Indian guys, and I'm like, this is weird. I'm not interested in this. It's messed up.
My age now, for context, I'm 24. So, like when I talk to people 5 years younger than me, like I have nothing to relate to them on. Like it's like it's gotten so short. Like I feel like maybe even 3 years like is probably pushing it. Like for me to be able to have like a decent conversation with someone, because there's like almost no reference points anymore. Things have just kind of like changed so quickly. It's very very disconcerting.
If you're wondering why I didn't get an even younger Gen Z, because you're Canadian, comedian for Nick's spot, Dino would have just killed him, whoever it was. Like,
What? That's probably true.
Yeah.
see, yeah.
Yeah.
Not literally, but just with his words, he would have.
50-50.
Yeah.
Aww. Leave the child alone. He's little weein'.
He's a wee lad.
I'm sure that made it better.
Yeah.
My skin's so dewy. It's so dewy and young. Not really anymore. I have to start moisturizing.
Oh,
Getting-
you know what?
getting
The
those
fact you
zits,
don't
though.
get along with 19-year-olds, guy, is because they're not even real people yet. Okay, that's
True.
true. You're barely a person.
I remember hearing that starting out in comedy when I was like 17, 18. They're like, you're not a person yet. I'm like, I'm a person. I was not a person.
You're not a person.
No.
Listen, it's the same idea that like people hit 18, 19, or you guys 21, and you're like, well, I could drink, I could do whatever I want. And you're like, no, you really shouldn't. You're an idiot.
No.
You hit 25, and you're like, okay, now I know like how the things work. No, and this is the fact is even to 29, there will you do something dumb, people will say, oh well, he's in his 20s, right? 30 is listen, adult or get the fuck out, right? Like at that point, there's no excuse. You're going to be held accountable, and it is horrible. Okay, let me tell you that. Number one. Okay, but number two is their opinion of you when you're in your 30s. Like really mature people will solidify their opinion of you when you do stuff in your 30s, and that usually won't change. Like in your 20s, you might be able to change it, but 30, you're like, no. You had all that time to do all the fun stuff. Now you're 30, fuck it. You're an asshole. Now you're an asshole forever. That's it. You've been. Yeah, it's quite frustrating.
Interesting.
The worst part is my mom, who's in her late 60s, is like, I still haven't figured shit out. I was like, no, it can't be like that.
Yeah.
But it
No,
is.
that is the honest truth that no one, they don't want you to know. Is no one knows shit.
Awesome.
You know
we
what?
do, because we know more shit than we used to know, but we still don't actually know shit.
Well, the caveat there is that we know more shit than we used to. Like, it's still shit. Like, it's not. We haven't upgraded to be like, hey, we're reading books now. No, still dog shit. It's still.
Yeah. No, but it's like, I know it's not good to go out and drink Everclear with my friends in a Honda Civic, and then one of them goes off with some guy that we don't even know. Like, we know that's not a good thing to do anymore. Like, probably should have never done that.
Yeah.
Don't ever drink grain alcohol, just in general.
Or party in the woods. That is before disaster.
I mean,
someone is
where's
throwing
the
a
line
can
between
onto the
partying
fire and exploding it.
100%.
Yeah.
But
Sorry,
where's
what'd
the
you say?
line between partying in the woods and camping?
Sleeping on purpose.
Yeah, bringing
On
gear.
purpose.
It's how much gear do you bring? If you're partying in the woods, it's a lot less gear, same amount of alcohol. If you're camping, lots of gear, same amount of alcohol. That's the ratio. Yeah,
I like that definition. I really like that
If you-
definition.
yeah. That really is the difference but either way, like camping, the fucking worst. Like people are
get
like,
it.
I'm an avid camper. I'm like, you're an avid homeless person. I don't give a shit.
I will only camp depending on the group of people going. Like, I gotta really like the people going. If it's like oh, he's going, I'm not going. I gotta like everyone going in order for me to be there, because it's got to be a good experience all around.
When I camp, I need it to be a completely different biome. I don't like to. I'm gonna camp in the desert. I live in the desert. Get me like lush forests or near a lake or something. I need water because California. I went like one time I visited my friend in Oregon. He had a very small creek behind the house he was renting, and I was like, "Oh my god, there's water!" And he's like, "It's a creek? I'm pretty sure someone just pissed on a tree." I was like, "Still amazing."
Yeah,
I don't want to see like I'm torn. Do I want to see it, or will I be annoyed by your reaction to snow? Like you standing in the middle of the street, just kind of. Huh. It just comes down like that.
It's so pure. It's so beautiful. This is magical. And then tell him to shovel it.
yeah, that's about it.
I grew
I
up
hope
going
it's the wet
skiing
stuff.
every year, so I'm a little less jazzed by snow. Snow is snow.
Snow is beautiful
Yeah.
though.
Rain,
So-
on the other hand, holy shit, we barely get rain. That's okay. We don't. You do, Diana.
Yeah, we
But-
get rain. Southern California, they panic with half an inch of rain. It's so annoying.
And then there's always the one guy doing, we needed this. Of course we fucking needed it. We shouldn't exist as a city.
That happens more often as you get older too. Is there's more people who are like, well, it's good for everybody. We needed the rain.
We needed
And you're
it,
like,
yeah.
shut the fuck up.
That's what I don't miss. Weather conversations.
Yes.
You get stuck in a weather conversation, and the weather conversation loop is a particular ring of hell, where you start with today, you go, and then you hit what it was a few days ago, and then you go with what the forecast is, and then you come back to today, because you gotta comment on today. And then if they remember what happened like earlier the week, like, and they didn't mention it, and they go back to that, that's when I think about cutting myself. That is.
Listen, in a few years, people
Never
are going to
have,
start
but
saying.
where I'm like, sounds like interesting,
In a few years, people are going to start telling you, "Oh, when I was in this place around this time of year, the weather was like this," and that's a new ring of hell. I'll tell you, because you're saying they're going
Reminiscing.
because trust me, they're going to be talking. It's an age thing, so they're just filling in the gaps. So the problem is some people don't travel, so they'll be like, yeah, I lived 4 streets over, and around this time last year, they had a lot of rain. You're like, that's not a story, man. It's trust me, it can get really wonky.
I feel like I'm starting to become that person because the weather is changing, but I'm old enough to remember what it used to be.
Yeah. No, that's definitely going to be a thing. Okay, so, well, my young child is, 15 years from now or whatever. When I was your age, we used to have something called temperatures under 90 degrees. Now, there used to be a city here with people, but we destroyed the planet and it got uninhabitably hot, so that's why we're in the barge from Waterworld.
Or we're all mole people.
Yeah, mole people.
We live in mountains.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
And that's why summer's the worst season. Thank you, Amit.
So all year?
What? Being mole people?
No, just you said summer's the worst season, so I'm like, so all year for you is the worst.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ah, good point.
Non-stop summer, right?
No, like California summer is the worst part of the year. California winter is like
super summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
They
like
got summer or they got supersized summer.
Yeah, summer in California is the 5XL of seasons.
Oh, so like right now you put on the 90 pounds.
Son of a bitch.
You're in the 90 pound.
Yes, exactly. That's what summer is for temperature wise.
You know what? I've been to Vegas and like we went for my Dirty 30, and I remember that I went with other friends who were the same age as me, and I was like, let's go in October. They're like, no, let's go when we have our birthdays. And I'm like, that's August.
Oh,
No.
I'm like, there's
So
no
stupid.
fucking way I'm going to Las Vegas. And yeah, so October was still ridiculously fucking hot. And my wife was like, you haven't been out of the hotel in 3 days. I'm like, yeah, I'm good with that.
On
It's
purpose,
no
yeah.
problem. Yeah. I'm like, they have great air. We were in the Venetian. The air conditioning was on point. And I'm like, listen, I'm good. She's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'll just sit in the room. I don't give a shit. Like, this is great.
Yeah, you walk the strip at night when it's down to 80.
And naked women.
I
There's naked women and people just handing you pictures of them. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, thank you. Pictures of ladies.
I just need
That's a
them
nipple.
to actually propose. Like, do you remember that episode of Futurama with the global warming, and then one of the scientists proposes a giant mirror to block out some of the sun? I am waiting for scientists to be like, okay, we know it was on a comedy sci-fi TV show, but like, we should try that.
Look.
But they got to change the name. It's like, well, it's a pliable, large solar sail.
There you go. Yeah,
that
that's
we're
how
going
they sell it to
deploy
people.
in the upper atmosphere. It looks like a mirror, sir. It's not a mirror. It's a large solar sail.
It's been highly polished, and yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is
Yeah.
definitely coming.
Oh man.
Look, it's just it's
A thought I had today, as I was putting my hair up into a ponytail, was, what age is it completely unacceptable for a man to have a ponytail and be wearing a hair tie on his wrist?
all of
Do
them.
you know? I don't. I know your opinion. I'm looking for people who live in the world. Okay.
Listen, okay, sorry. You know what? I have a very, very inappropriate joke I'm working on that specific subject, and I'm not going to say it because I don't know you well enough, Dan. I'll be honest. That's pretty much it's pretty bad. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
I think it is always appropriate.
Really?
And I'm not just saying that because my dad is literally bald ponytail guy.
Oh. How hairs
That's just-
are
that's-
contributing to ponytail? Is it like
Yeah.
receding, or is it just like a few of them
No,
cobbed together?
it's like half and half.
Okay.
Oh, so
it's-
it's receding hairline, not male pattern, right?
it's right here.
Right.
I get
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, here is but I'm still full hair, and I can put my hair in a ponytail. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, so I would say maybe the back third of his head still has hair.
Mhm.
So that's the ponytail.
That's
But
almost like a
also-
punk-like look, where it looks intentional.
Yeah, like it's so dumb that it's like in your face. I don't know. It's always just like there's no stopping him. He's an old hippie. He thinks that this somehow harnesses his whole hippiness, and
He's like Samson, but for drugs. That's fair.
yeah, just
It's all his power.
deal with it. Yeah,
I love it. Love it.
yeah. But as
but-
someone who has a lot of hair, my hair is very thick, and it just goes everywhere. That's like if you don't have basically like a dude haircut, you need to hold your something to hold your ponytail. At some point or another, it could just be like you're cooking or you're exercising or.
I'll say
get out of your face.
That every time I'm on a date with the girl, like she is so appreciative when I'm just like, oh, here, I have a hair tie, like because I always have one, like it's been very advantageous in intimate situations too, where like sometimes you need to get hair out of the way, and then when you're just like quickly like here, and they're like, oh my god, thank you, it's very appreciated. I for my friends, I give them hair ties. I'm like, just keep them. You don't need to use them. Just keep them around. They'll become in handy.
I just imagine like you hand them off a hair tie, and then like you just happen to have a tampon. You're like, I don't use them. I swear. I just needed to like be helpful.
Yeah. Well, it's like having an extra toothbrush in your house.
Sink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. You have guests.
It's called common courtesy.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel that we have misrepresented Nick and myself throughout this podcast.
About what thing?
Oh, ton of things, okay? I don't feel like he looks way too good right now because he is not considerate at all. Yeah. He's such a dick.
I mean, I'm a person, man. I got two sides to me. I like everyone.
This is deceit by mass media, courtesy of Nick Fernandez, okay? He is using us to deceive the people that need him.
I broke Dino. All right.
Yeah. I think we gotta change his batteries.
Yeah. Diana,
a little too high.
Thank you so much for coming on Generation Day and hanging out with us.
Okay. Thank you.
This is a great way to spend a Friday.
Thank you for having me. It's a nice, it's actually it was actually sunny outside in San Francisco, and it's almost a summery day here, and it's just nice to hang out without actually having to have people in my personal space. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Where?
Wait,
what?
Quick question: is San Francisco like Seattle light? Like I'm not sure what the distance is, but like you mentioned rain, so it's like you guys get sunshine and rain.
Yes, just like James Taylor is into. Yeah. No, Seattle light is a good way to put it. We get less rain, but we get a lot more fog. It's just gray all the time. Oh. They call it perpetual spring. It's like it's always kind of April around here.
Interesting.
Yeah,
you gotta have a thing for morning dew then. Like that's got to be that's got to be a thing that you enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very great. It was when I went over to the UK as an exchange student. They kept saying "Oh, coming from California, this must be so weird for you." And I was like, "It's the same, man. I'm good. I'm used to this shit. I always take a sweater wherever I go. We're fine."
Wow.
Where can people find you and follow you and all that good stuff?
They can find me on Twitter at LeCineNerd, LeCineNerd, or they can listen to me every single week on 30/20/10, the podcast where we look this exact week, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and 10 years ago in movies and TV and music and stuff.
It's really fun, and I highly recommend that show for sure.
It is fun to just either stumble upon things that you've never heard of before, or just reevaluate them. Like I watched Terminator 2 for the first time in 25 years and was like, wow, that's so much better than I remember. Oh my god. Oh my, the practical effects. Everyone remembers the digital effects. The practical stunts in that are freaking incredible.
Wow. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What about the rest of you?
I am Nick Fernandez. You can find me on Instagram. That's where I post the most, at Nick Fernandez Comedy. There are finally live shows in Canada, in Toronto here. So I post them there, and come see if you're ever there.
Yeah, and I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel. I'm not going near anyone right now. You guys can all go to hell. You can find me online. I'm all over social media as Dino the Genetic Marvel, and I post all the videos for stuff that I do there, both comedy, podcasts, shows, weird stuff. Nothing too weird, but yeah, it's entertaining. I make jokes. Anyway,
and his OnlyFans is well worth the money.
Curated like I am an artiste. Okay.
I gotta say, before I leave this earth, I have to see a boudoir photo shoot of Dino. Just tasteful lingerie, a lot of robes,
I'm thinking like
great lighting.
the George Costanza like cheesecake pose from Seinfeld.
God.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
with the socks.
Yeah.
I want to see Dino like caressing a marble rye. That's what I.
Oh my god. All right, you can find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter or Instagram. Check out my other show at Nexus at Nights, in the same places. That's about a trading card game. If you don't care, that's fine too. Or follow us on Twitter. What is it? At Generation Dan, right?
Yeah, at Generation Dan.
At Generation Dan on Twitter. Yeah. So thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.